Alright people, them 2 weeks later with the Acer Predator Triton 14 ultra portable, ultra slim gaming laptop. Let's see if this thing is actually worth its money. Yes, people, what's good? It's man like Jamo. Now, as I said, we out here 2 weeks later with the Acer Triton 14 gaming laptop. I think this is probably Acer's most powerful, tiny and portable gaming laptop that they have out right now. Big shout out to them for sending it down literally just for this review. It's got to go back next Monday and they don't get to see this content before it goes out. So let's get in, starting with the specs. Now, as I said, starting off with the specs, we're pretty much super duperly spec'd out in this mini chassis. We're talking Intel Core Ultra 9 2nd Gen, 32GB of RAM, terabyte of SSD, Wi-Fi 7 on board, the Intel AI chip that I don't really ever use. We got Intel integrated 140V graphics, which are killer at playing games, literally just on the integrated power alone. And then if that wasn't enough, we've also got an NVIDIA RTX 5070 in there to make sure the graphics keep pushing. Now, in terms of display, we've got the OLED thing going on here. 2880 by 1800, 16:10 aspect ratio. And I think we've got up to 100 and, hold on, let me just double check. 120 Hertz refresh rate on this thing. Guys, can we talk about the design quickly? This is a sexy piece of laptop. Look how thin that thing is. This is actually portable. Like, I get it, bigger laptops, you know, they're better for productivity and thing. But the whole point of a laptop for me is that it's portable and I can bring it A to B without feeling like I got a desktop in my backpack kind of thing. And that's exactly what you're getting here, fam. Super thin, not stupidly lightweight like those LG grams and stuff like that, but stupidly thin, and it just feels like it's made out of good quality materials. One of my favorite features is the fact that we got this RGB glow on the backside kind of thing to match with whatever's happening on the keyboard. That's all wavy. That's cool, fam. Like, my man said it's changing color and all sorts. I'm not sure you can see that. I'll give you guys a little close up later on. Now, in terms of ports and thing, USB-C Thunderbolt settings, USB-A 3.2 Gen 2, combination 3.5mm headphone and microphone jack, 2 little indicator lights to let you know what the thing is doing, and you got a little speaker there. It looks like a little grill for something. I don't even know what it is actually, to be honest. Now on the other side, HDMI 2.1, USB-A 3.2 Gen 2 again, another Thunderbolt because one wasn't enough. Don't know what this is. Oh, looks like a little micro SD card reader, and looks like it got another speaker grill there on the side as well. As I said before, the flush is back. The back is flush with a little Triton logo at the back there, which I'm not sure if you guys can see. And the front of the device is flush as well, but a bit too flush because it would have been nice to have a bit more of a lip here in order to be able to open the laptop with one finger. It might just be because I got sausage fingers. I can't really get in here. Oh, there we go. Just about to open the laptop like so. And it's all out of focus. We love to see it. This RGB keyboard is a madness. This RGB keyboard is an absolute madness, fam. That's just, yeah, it looks crazy. It looks crazy. There's lots of different patterns that you can choose in the Acer Predator software. I can show you that a little bit later, but this keyboard looks and it feels good. Yeah, no, it definitely does feel good. This trackpad, fam, even better. I love the fact that it's flush with the material on the front of the laptop itself, but it's one of those forced haptic touch kind of things, kind of like the MacBook Pro, where you kind of go in the area there, it's nice and responsive, it feels super smooth, and it's a click that you can only feel when the laptop is on because it's like an electronic click situation that's going on here, fam. Really cool kind of software, hardware, software, whatever you want to call it. It's just, yeah, it's wavy, fam. Love these little lights that show you which part is actually the trackpad and which part is just the side of the laptop. Fam. Massive trackpad as well for such a small form factor laptop. Guys, I did not even realize that this thing was touchscreen. The thing is touchscreen. Not gonna lie though, I'm probably not gonna touch it that much because I wouldn't want, okay, it's awkward that I've just touched it and now it's crashed. But yeah, do you get it? I wouldn't want to touch such a lovely looking screen anyway. So yeah, nice that it's got the feature there, but I don't want those fingerprints on my screen in the first place. And now finally the part that we've all been waiting for, the actual gaming section. Got all the boring stuff out of the way. We're gonna go in with CSGO 2, maxed out 2880 by 1800, I think the resolution is. And obviously we've only got a maximum of 120 frames per second, maximum refresh rate on this laptop. So I feel like they could have gone harder, by the way, with the refresh rate, but 120 is decent enough for something this small, I guess, anyway. And yeah, no, it's definitely more than capable of pushing CSGO 2 at over 120 frames per second. It even goes up to 200 frames per second. So again, it's a shame they missed out with a possible 240 hertz display perhaps. But yeah, again, 120 for me and my lack of esports ability, definitely more than enough. Then went on to one of my favorite racing games of all time, Grid Autosport. Now we're getting high 80s, high 90s all over the place in this game. It's running super smooth, not quite the 120 FPS I was expecting considering the fact that this is such an old game. But I think having everything maxed out and having the 2880 by 1800 full resolution thing going on maybe gave this smaller graphics card with only 140 watt TDP a little bit of a challenge. So yeah, I guess it's doing all right for what it is essentially. Now move on to something a little bit easier to play. We got an indie title called Tunic here, fam. This, I don't even know if I should call it an indie title because this game feels more AAA than some AAA games that I've actually played. Man like Andrew Shouldice, he's done his thing when he went into developing this game, fam. Anyway, as I was saying, we're talking performance now. We're locked in at that 120 frames per second. And by the way, Tunic on an OLED screen, the colors, the contrast, everything's popping on this display, fam. Everything is popping on this display. As you can probably see in the video, it looks wavy, fam. More than happy to run a couple indies on this little laptop, especially with this form factor, which makes it more portable. Now, Horizon Forbidden West has always been a demanding game, no matter what PC I play it on. So for these little PCs, especially with their underwater GPUs, I usually play them at 1920 by 1200p, so 16 by 1080p basically, and with high detail settings, high graphic settings, and you'll make sure the DLSS is on there, all the frame gen is on there, everything I can do to help this run as smooth as possible. And we're getting a nice decent 100 frames per second here, so definitely more than playable. Obviously this is a one player game, you only really need 60. Again, technically some people like the 30 frames per second thing, but I feel like if we're on PC we might as well get that 60 frames per second because Horizon looks sick at 60 FPS, especially at a high resolution. And again, playing this on the OLED panel, fam, the greens in the grass, everything popping explicably. You can see how good it looks, fam. This is what gaming look. I would never think that something this small could play a game with this high level of detail natively, fam. That's still crazy to me, but yeah, this is what Horizon looks like on the Predator Triton 14. Now, about to wrap up this review, I forgot to show you guys the software that Acer uses to control the performance of the gaming laptop itself. The Acer, I can't remember what it's called, the Predator software, something like that. Basically, the software works really well and it's super responsive. Now, when I say super responsive, it's not lagging everywhere. Like certain companies, I'm not even gonna say certain companies, I'm gonna call them out, fam. HP's gaming software, yo, I don't know what's going on. Every time I load that thing up, if I want to change some RGB or I want to change the performance of the laptop from, I don't know, normal mode to discrete graphics mode, the thing is so laggy, it just makes me want to leave it on discrete graphics mode the whole time. Like, it's not worth the 2-minute loading time to get the configuration settings up. Whereas with this thing, I can confidently put the laptop on power saver mode and then switch it to discrete graphics mode with the mux switch anytime I want without fear of having to wait a good 10 minutes for the laptop to get its act together kind of thing. So well done on Acer for making such a good kind of mux switch options settings mode kind of thing, where you can just go in and change it as and when you need to. Yeah, guys, I can't lie. This one's a good one. This one's actually a good gaming laptop. I didn't even want to give it back to Acer Too Tough because it seems to be doing everything it needs to do. Like, OLED screen's looking nice. The refresh rate, not the highest, but for me personally, as someone who's not an esports warrior, 120 FPS, definitely good enough for me. The keyboard, fam, that RGB is some of the brightest RGB I've seen, brighter than some standalone RGB keyboards that I've actually got. And that haptic touchpad, which is kind of like the MacBook, wavy. The fact that they put it on this laptop, wavy. They didn't have to do that, but they did. Again, you got a good selection of ports there. Not too many USB-A's though, as I would have liked to see. I would have probably liked to see a little SD card reader as well, even though this is not a creator laptop, it's a gaming laptop. But yeah, no, apart from that, it seems to be doing everything it needs to do in terms of gaming performance. Obviously, the TDP is a lot lower than a normal sized laptop would be, and much, much lower than a desktop would be. But those are things that you're obviously trading off to get a laptop for gaming in this small form factor. And those are some trade-offs I'm definitely happy to do, especially when I'm traveling and I want to bring a good gaming machine with me and I don't want to feel like I've got my desktop strapped to my back. But yeah, man, that's what I think about the Predator Triton 14. Definitely a decent gaming laptop in the small form factor realm. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And if you found this review in any way helpful, make sure you leave a like, consider subscribing, and even consider hitting the notification bell so that you're in with the next tech drop. Anyway, man's out, safe.